Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Emma, and today I'm going to be talking about my experience seeing Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on Broadway. If you know me at all, you know that I am a massive Harry Potter fan, so naturally the release of a new story so many years later intrigued me from the start back in 2016. I of course read the script immediately, and to be honest, it was not my favorite. I do have a very in-depth review talking about all of my likes and dislikes of just the script that I'll link below if you want to check it out. Despite my mixed feelings, I had heard the universal opinion was that the onstage production is better than just reading the script, so I always wanted to see it live regardless, and I got that amazing opportunity in December of 2018 to see it for the first time. My friend Kaylee Hyde invited me to see it with her, and immediately I was so blown away with how drastically my feelings on this story had changed. I will definitely share all my thoughts on the play when we get to the review section of this video, but ultimately I just adore this play so much. It fills me with nothing but joy to think about, and I literally enter the lottery pretty much every week because no matter how many times I see it, it will never be enough to satisfy me. I am ecstatic to say that Cursed Child is kindly sponsoring this video, as they invited me to recently see the play for the second time, as well as invited me to some cool festivities surrounding the production. I want to share a little bit about the 2 magical days I spent with my friend Atiya as she accompanied me to see the play for the first time herself, and then later Nat and I are gonna sit down and tell you all of our non-spoiler and spoiler-filled thoughts on the play. If you're only interested in seeing the review portion of this video, you can head to this timestamp here, but overall, this was a really exciting opportunity for me, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So our first stop of the night before seeing part 1 was to attend a cocktail hour that was held at the lounge in the Lyric Theater, and I obviously had never been there before, so it was really cool. People were decked out head to toe in HP gear. I got to hold a dog wearing Hogwarts robes, which was absolutely adorable, and it was overall a really dope time. What made it even more special is that the actual producers of the play, Sonia Friedman and Colin Callender, came to do a little speech about their journey creating Cursed Child and bringing it to life on stage, so that was an immensely novel experience.
We're just so thrilled that she loved the idea of telling her 8th story. She felt that there were parts of the Harry Potter story that were unresolved. Harry as the dad, Harry as the parent, Harry as the orphan. And
the story of Albus. She was really interested in the story of Albus.
And she wants to know what would happen to Albus. But we just want to thank you all for being here. It's been an incredible adventure and journey for us so far. We've been running in London. We're in our 4th year there. It's an absolute phenomenon there. We've not had an empty seat, and we haven't had here. We're into our second, nearly our 3rd year here, and tonight we're just sort of celebrating Potter, J.K. Rowling,
all around the world.
The phenomenon that we all know.
Nat and I were actually right behind them, like all up in their personal space, so if you see any other videos of their toast, we're like front and center. We also got a really awesome goodie bag full of Cursed Child merch, which I previously had none, so that was really exciting, and I'll let Nat and I do a quick little haul of that for you. So it first came with this amazing Dark Mark tote bag, which is super cute. We'll talk about how much I love the design later.
First thing we have in here
that you're wearing
is this t-shirt that I'm wearing. It's just a black t-shirt with a dark mark on it. I love it.
For Voldemort and Valor.
For Voldemort and Valor.
Then we also have this little card. Yeah, those are social media handles on it.
Love it. Then we have this cute little mug.
My mom's gonna kill me for having more mugs.
This is Emma's 472nd mug.
My 394th.
Yep.
Oh, those are my nasty ass playbills.
Let's show everybody the playbills. So we have 2 playbills. This is the first one. What is this? Part 1. And then I have no idea what happened to part 2, but it's really been through something. It's had a rough life.
Well, part 2 really went through some rough things too.
That's true.
And then we have, oh, this little pin. It just says The Cursed Child and the 8th Story, and I just love this pin.
Up next, we got
Dark Mark stickers.
this pack of stickers.
And then there's also this new pin. It just says the hashtag Cursed Child NYC, but these buttons used to say keep the secrets. So I guess the secrets are out, man. So a very solid goodie bag, like lots of really awesome merch. So after hearing from the producers, we headed into the theater. We had orchestra seats, which was just amazing. So because this play is so long, depending on what day you get tickets, you can either see part 1 and part 2 on separate days, one after the other, or you might see it all in one day with an extended break in between. We saw part 1 on a Thursday night, which was intentional because after the conclusion of the play, we were heading to this super secret Harry Potter one-time only Times Square event. Now, Nat and I knew something was going on in Times Square, we just didn't know exactly what, but it was really cool because at the conclusion of Act 1, a character who shows up at like the very, very end came out and invited the whole audience to come along, totally in character, so it was just a really nice experience. So we get to Times Square and it is packed, like more packed than normal, just hundreds of people standing around because they heard that there was like this Harry Potter thing going on in Times Square and no one wanted to miss out. All of a sudden, like half the screens in Times Square, and like there's a lot of screens in Times Square, they all pop up and they have this time turner countdown for a minute, so everyone is just standing there, excitement and anticipation in the air, waiting to see what's gonna happen. to be a really unique experience to be a part of. While I have been involved in the Harry Potter fandom for so many years, I never got to attend any of the massive gatherings of Potterheads that happened when the film franchise was at its height, so it was a really memorable experience for me. So there was some confusion online when videos surfaced because while it was a pretty cool event, it didn't reveal a lot about what this whole announcement was. The intention behind it was not just a rebrand like many people think, it was because the play is actually expanding to even even more cities internationally. In addition to London and New York, you will now be able to see productions of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child in San Francisco, Toronto, Hamburg, and Melbourne. And to celebrate that news, the show actually gave away 934 completely free tickets to the production. Unfortunately, all the tickets are going to be gone by the time you guys see this video, but I can confirm it happened because as Natalia and I were getting breakfast before going to see part 2, she actually won a pair of free tickets to go see it in October, which I'm super excited for her. So for the remainder of this video, I will let Natalia and I just like gush about how much we love this play and why exactly we love it, so I really hope you guys enjoy. So, Nat, I want to know, like, your initial thoughts on it, because this was your first time actually seeing the play in person.
Yeah.
So, like, what was your, like, overall reaction?
Okay. Well, I would say that my initial thought, like, when we sat down in that seat and the curtain came up, I was so happy that I wasn't reading it anymore, that I was just, like, seeing it happen. I felt like a child walking, I don't know, like through Disney World for the first time, and everything just seemed so magical, and that's how I felt sitting there, and everything just felt magical, and I was instantly in bliss.
Yeah, and so you had read the script before seeing the play.
Yeah.
You said you read it twice, right?
Yeah, back to back.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so obviously you really liked it, right?
I did really like it.
So we just have a diverse opinion here because I had more issues with the script. Like, I still really enjoyed so many parts of it, but I was like very critical of it. But seeing the play, like, I also have that feeling like when I'm in that theater watching this production, like, everything else in the world doesn't matter, and just what's right in front of me. Yeah.
I think about the play and I just like smile.
Yeah, there's just like this overwhelming, like, good positive feeling of happiness that comes from it. So we're gonna talk about the non-spoiler things that we liked about it in case you haven't seen the show yet and would like to. One thing that I particularly love about the show is the costuming and the design, because what I didn't know going into it the first time, and I don't think you knew until I told you either, is that all of the house crests and like the Hogwarts robes and whatnot have all been redesigned because it's independent from the movies. So it was really cool to be able to see like this reimagined Hogwarts that like we've never seen before. So that was something that was really exciting. And along with like the design and the graphics of the show, I also really love the costumes.
Yeah, the costumes are dope.
Yeah, like the way that the cloaks move and they're incorporated into the dancing, it's just like a whole other element of the story that makes it feel like very, what is the word I'm looking for, whimsical and mystical.
Absolutely. I'm getting all smiley just thinking back to it. Yeah. They were just so swift with it, and it really just like moved the play along, because it was always like a transitional scene most of the time where people just run in robes, or whenever they're trying to like get certain props out of the way, they'll just like take the robe and push them off.
What else did you like about the play?
The special effects of the play were my favorite part. Like, it really felt like they were doing magic, you know? That's how, I don't know, I was just so in awe, and a lot of things I found myself constantly trying to figure out how they were doing it. Yeah, but I also had the other half of me that's like telling myself to maybe not think into it too much and just let it feel magical and not try to figure it out. But I can't help it. That adult part of me is just like, how are they doing that?
Yeah, I feel like there are some things that you can sort of figure out with a little bit of critical thinking, but there are other things that's just like, how did they perform this live?
Yeah.
Like, it's really mystifying, and I feel like they really did like a fantastic job bringing the magic to life.
They really did.
Something else I love is like the music and the choreography. Like, the score of it is beautiful. You can listen to it anywhere online. Obviously the film scores are so iconic.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it has like a little bit of edge to it that I feel like is different from the films. And just like the overall choreography and movement, there's like so many good dance sequences with the wizards. Yeah. And one thing I noticed is like one time there's like a group of people walking and they're all like moving their hands in the same like,
exactly what you're
you know the
talking
scene I'm talking about, yeah? And it's so precise and in sync, and it just really takes like just walking to another level. There's just a lot that I feel can't come across when you're just reading the text, like specifically the humor. Like
Scorpius'
the show is so funny.
He is so funny. I want to be his friend so badly.
Oh my gosh. And I feel it's really the actors that are doing it because it's the same dialogue, it's the same words and storyline, but their intonation, their expression, like the way that they choose to portray these characters is really what brings them to life.
And then the difference between like the movies and the play is that the movies is a little more serious, you know? The jokes are very subtle, but this is like, it really hits you. They have
so
their
funny.
punchlines, like, all hail Scorpius.
All hail the Scorpion King. So I think that's going to conclude our non-spoiler section. We're going to start talking about like detailed elements of the scene and like major plot points. So if you do not want to be spoiled, I'd recommend stop watching here.
Don't do it.
But on the other hand, if you have already read the script, or if you're like, I'm never gonna probably see this play live, I just want to know your thoughts on it.
Let's just talk about
Let's chat. So one of the things that stands out to me with my Cursed Child experience is that one of the most memorable scenes, like the thing that I think of when we talk about Cursed Child, is when Scorpius, Albus, and Delphi are getting the time turner out of Hermione's bookcase.
Yep.
I feel like it just captures what Cursed Child is about so well because like it's got the time travel.
Yeah.
It's got like the main cast like interacting, funny moments. And it's like a really brilliant work of magic on stage.
Yep.
And I just feel like it so captures the essence of the play. So I find that really interesting with me.
Yeah. For some reason, whenever they would use the time turner, it always blew
yes!
my mind every single time. And I know that it's just like lighting, but it really does look like you're just like morphing through time. I don't know.
Yeah,
really,
it's like the projection.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
The first time it happened, I heard it was like more people than
I was like, oh.
whoa. Again, the magic. So all the fire when you're just like, when they're shooting.
Oh yeah, with
at
like a
one
Avada
another.
Kedavra and Incendio. That's really good.
So good. I also loved whenever Dumbledore would come up to his portrait. I just thought that looked so beautiful. It was lit perfectly. Like if he really stood still for a second, he looked like a painting. And how they used that and incorporated like that dark background into the special effects. So when they're dueling with one another, like when Malfoy and Harry Potter were dueling.
Their battle is just so
incredible.
good. That was a great scene in the script, and it translated even better to the play with the way that they're flying in the air, and it was really good. Something that we both really loved when we saw it was during the second task when Scorpius and Albus go back and try and get Cedric to lose a Triwizard Tournament. They're in the air, like swimming towards each other, like vertical on stage.
How do you do that?
Yeah, it just really looked amazing. And I thought the use of the pool on stage
was so
good.
cool.
Like a Scorpius just pops up and everyone's like, like
Literally, the entire audience just moved up at the same time, just like came out of the water. And they used that so many times too. I just loved it.
Yeah.
Elements.
While we're also on like the use of props on stage, they make such great use out of the moving staircases, and I didn't realize until I was just thinking about how much I wanted to talk about this, that it like mimics the fact that the staircases move in Hogwarts.
You didn't
like,
know that?
I just thought they put them on wheels, and I was like, wow, what a great idea to reuse all of these staircases.
It was so perfect. And the way that, did you notice that sometimes like when they're up, because usually they will like go up the staircase and then the staircase will turn and they'll come back down and walk away. But sometimes it would go all the way to the top and jump down. Do they have a trampoline?
Yeah, there's definitely like a big pad there. I think that's a great effect too.
That was so cool. At one point I just like kept watching them just jump over.
Also, Moaning Myrtle's sink. Isn't that amazing? Oh, we could talk about her when we get to characters.
I think that's the scene where like everybody was laughing.
Yes. The spinning, the water that comes down. It's really, really well done. What do you want to talk about next?
Let's see. I wish that there was a script and we could just like shuffle through. Another thing was whenever they would show time passing by, they would just like cut to black and then all the lights would come back on and then just keep moving.
Yeah.
I think, what is it? They like stopped. The lights went black.
Yes.
And then they would come back on and they would just continue, but it's just like an X amount of time in the future. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, oh my god, like when that really great line from Ron where it's like it comes back on and he's like, so you're telling me the entire history of the world depends on Neville Longbottom.
Earth is the third planet from the sun and the only astronomical object.
Who were some of like your favorite characters like that really stood out in this production, not necessarily from like the Harry Potter history?
I feel like I've already said this a couple times already in this video, but Scorpius.
Scorpius!
Scorpius was my favorite in the entire film. I found myself trying to guess every character's zodiac sign while
Oh
we were
my
watching
gosh.
it.
Yeah, Scorpius is definitely like my favorite character. He is just so funny. Like, everything about his personality just really shines through. Someone that I love is Professor McGonagall. I feel like the humor that she adds to the production is just so on point with her original character, but she's able to flourish a little bit more. Like, I feel like she's given a bit more attention here.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, I just really love the comic relief that she brings.
How do you feel about Malfoy and Potter's like relationship?
I mean, I have always wanted, like, a little bit of a Draco redemption arc, and I feel like Cursed Child is that for me. Like, I feel like it just comes across really well, and we see a lot of actual growth from him, but that rivalry is, like, still there.
Yeah.
So I think it's really well done in the show. How about you?
I definitely, like, enjoyed it, and I appreciated it. I really liked the scene where he went to, like, Scorpius, and he was just like, you can hug me too. Or would you like a hug as well? What was it? What was the quote exactly?
Maybe that was like an ad-lib from the show.
Oh, you think so?
Oh yeah, I definitely think that there are ad-libs. There are things in the production that are in here. Totally.
That was nice, because then you got to see like his redemption arc with Harry Potter, but also you watched his relationship with his own son
Yeah,
like, progress
it's so sweet.
and change and grow. And same goes for Albus and Harry. It was nice seeing that, because they had some issues at the beginning of the play that they really needed to talk about.
Another really standout scene, or I feel like it kind of feels like a full act, is just the whole like Voldemort takeover universe. Like that whole alternate reality.
It was so satisfying.
I love it. I really love it in the play. Like Umbridge coming back. Like who expected that?
Where did you come from?
I had said to Natalia when we finished watching part 2, or during intermission, about how there's the scene where Scorpius is talking to another student and he says, oh, well, like Snape says it's due the other day. And then like the conversation continues and Scorpius is like, wait a minute, did you say Snape? Because like Snape is dead in the real world. And I also like totally passed over that. I did not even realize when the guy said Snape and I was like, oh my God. So it was good.
Yeah. How did you feel about like the portrayal of his character still being alive and still being at Hogwarts? And
I have some Snape issues, some snissues. I've never been like super empathetic towards Snape, but one moment that I really like from it is when Scorpius tells Snape that like Harry named his son after him, and like he's like happy that Harry's son carries his name. So like that was like a nice emotional moment for me. What about you? What do you think about Snape's return?
It was definitely really nice seeing him again. I kind of missed him low-key, but I thought that was really sweet. I know that a lot of people don't like Snape because you have your people that think that Snape is a good person that did bad things, and then you have your people that think that Snape is a bad person that did good things. And I feel like I haven't decided which one I fall on yet.
I wonder where you got that little division from.
I heard it from a little birdie. Oh, the scene where Harry finally had the conversation with Voldemort. I mean, with Voldemort. The moment where Harry was having the conversation with Dumbledore, or Dumbledore was painting, and he finally told him what he needed to say for years.
Yeah, like when he's just like, you left me in that loveless household with these people who didn't care for me. And he really like advocates for himself for the first time. But then at the end, they do have this really sweet moment where they're both like I loved you. And they had this like nice moment together, and it was very emotional.
It's the father-son moment that they should have had, or they wanted to have all those years ago, but couldn't.
I also really, like, on that note, I loved seeing the nightmares that Harry has about the Dursleys.
Those scenes were awesome.
So intense, and I really feel like exploring Harry's, like, trauma and the way that the Dursleys really affected him, it wasn't really showcased in the books, because he got to Hogwarts and it was, like, the happiest place he's ever been.
Yeah.
So I really love that they returned to this element of like Harry's unfinished business with his past. It felt like one of those like pieces that was missing from the original story that we finally got to see.
This book is really satisfying. Like, after so many years, I got this, and that's why I had to read it back to back, because it just filled me with so much joy, just being able to reconnect with these characters and see what they've been up to, and just hanging
and like
out
get
with
some
them.
of those like unanswered like stories that we wanted. Something that I loved was the scene where Harry like Godric's Hollow, everything has been resolved, but they're still in the past, and it comes time for Voldemort to kill his parents, and like, you know, he has the option to interfere, but he's not going to. And they all stand there together with him and like let him experience it. And it's just like, I think the heaviest moment from the play, where everyone is just like dead silent and going through that with Harry. It's like a really powerful moment.
Yeah, it just brought me back to that moment. Yeah, you could hear it like a pin drop, and Harry screams. That's it.
So emotional.
Being able to see Ron and Hermione.
I'm
gonna say that again. Being able to witness or experience Ron and Hermione's married relationship was incredible. I loved it.
Cute.
It was so cute, and the way that in alternate realities, when they weren't together, they still loved each other. They still wanted to be with each other. That warmed my heart. It was so beautiful.
Yeah, it just made me, it's just like a slap in the face to everyone that's like, ew, Hermione, like, joke's on you.
They are meant to be.
Yeah, and like the moment where Ron is like, I want to tell you something, and Hermione's like, if you want a marital break, Ron, like, I'll have you know I'm the Minister for Magic. And he's like, no, I just want to marry you again. It's so cute.
Same goes for like Harry's relationships. I would have liked to see what his relationships were with his other kids. I know that it was
definitely Albus's
and,
story.
Yeah, but that's another thing. I feel like it is technically about like Albus and his life, but because they were able to tie so many other characters that we know and love together, the fact that they didn't solely focus on Albus and Scorpius' story, like we got to see Harry's past, his nightmares, the way that it's that their actions are affecting everything and everybody else. It was great. I loved it. That's all I keep saying. That's what I've been saying this entire video. It's just like, it was great. I loved it. Like,
same though.
It's so
Retweet.
good.
Oh, we have to talk about the Dementors and everything.
The Dementors were scary, okay?
They're so good.
It was incredible. It really, really, like, I would have believed that it was an actual Dementor. The magic was real, that all the magic on stage was real, and those are real Dementors, and somebody was getting their soul sucked out of them.
Like the way that their costumes move, when they flew out into the audience, when they are kissing Ron and Hermione, and they lift them up. Everything about it is just amazing.
Yeah.
And also when Voldemort walks through the door, like when he walks through the audience, like that was also really unexpected. Like I thought that the Dementors were the end of it, but that, and also when, I'm just thinking of all the moments when they broke the fourth wall, because I thought it was really well done, when they are searching Delphi's room, and they use the wands
That
to
was
find
so
the black
cool.
light words that she's written all over her room, but it's all over the audience too. Really, really cool.
I wasn't expecting that at
Me
all.
either. It was so, so cool.
So cool. Now, they left it there for a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
we all
like
were just
you had enough time to really
look
like
around and see
experience it
everything.
and read everything. So, so cool.
How do you feel about Cedric becoming a Death Eater?
Okay, that's like the one thing I can't rock.
Like, do you really think that somebody like Cedric Diggory, like, would be so humiliated that he would become a Death Eater? Like, do you believe that he would really do that?
Personally, no. But still, like, it's easier to just, like, go with it in the moment with the play. Like, yeah, we don't have time to overanalyze this. Yeah, but, you know, there are, like, certain storylines and scenes and events that, like, I don't necessarily agree with as a fan, and that's something that, like, we're always gonna feel a little entitled to. But even though, like, I may not be, like, the most favorable opinion on some of the things that happen, like, it still, like, I'm like, oh yeah, Cedric's a Death Eater and he caused all these problems and killed Neville. Like, what a horrible person he's become.
Have we talked about how much I love Scorpius yet?
Yes, we have talked about how much we both love Scorpius. So I think that really wraps up our discussion on Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. I think it's pretty clear that we really, really love this play. Yeah, it's just so good, so amazing. I think we both highly recommend it.
And I can't wait for the next one. Do you think they're going to make another one?
We'll have to see. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave your thoughts on Cursed Child in the comments, whether you've just read the script or if you've been able to see the play. If you would like to see it, we'd love to chat with you about it. But that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon for a new one. Bye!